Good evening, folks. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Go ahead and get the stream started off a little earlier than usual tonight. Going to do some relaxed drifting down the old Seversky Donnets here. See if we can get some nice pumpkin fish and shamaya, all the usual small fish out here. Maybe get lucky and fill a cafe order. Just working my way up here to the top of the map, and then we'll get some lines in the water and start drifting. I'm going to start just throwing 3 different spinners out. I'm not really going to concern myself too much with what color they are, just 3 different shapes. Let's see what we can get. Alright, go ahead and start turning this around and start the drift. Go. Okay. Engine off and go and set my lines up. Okay, everything's still already good to go. Perfect. We'll keep our clip set around 18, even though the motor's not running. Just a little extra distance from the boat never hurts. There we go. So usually this area I don't get too much luck, but once we get around this spot and over on this side is when I usually start seeing the bite rate pick up. And we got a little bit of time before the sun sets here. There we go, first fish of the night. It's a thunderstorm here, which I've never actually fished in. Ooh, that looks like a really nice, nice sitchel there. Been a while since I caught one of them. A little bit of pickle action. See how this rainstorm affects the bite rate. Hopefully favorably. So I've got a spiker on this line. One of the lines is a hornet and one's an aquila. What difference we get between them? Looks like the current's pushing me towards the embankment here. Let me reposition a little bit. I imagine this storm is probably affecting the current a bit as well. At least the temperature is what I'm used to for the good days here. Last few times I was here, it was a really low temperature, which definitely did not help the bite rate. Tonight's tea is Bavarian Wild Berry. Ooh, still a bit hot though. Looks like we've got something on line 1 there. Go, little tiny ponic shad. Definitely seems to be drifting me towards the northern embankment more than usual from this weather, I guess. There we go. Looks like a pumpkin seed. Yep. I think something just got on to line 2. Yep. Reel that in. Reposition. Another sunfish. Yeah, pretty decent bite rate considering it's just about sunset. Let's back out towards the middle of the water here. Go. So press it on line 1 again. Yep. Another shad, I think. Nope, little tiny asp. All right. Anybody seeing the Barbie and Oppenheimer this weekend? I've been hearing negative things about both, surprisingly. Which I kind of expected for Barbie, but I'm surprised to hear the negative feedback I have for Oppenheimer. Man, this current is definitely pulling more northward than usual. Lots of thunder here in game. Showing for the rest of the forecast here. Looks like thunderstorm, and then the next day in game will be clear. All right. Not that those are terribly reliable, but not the worst thing to look at, anyways. All right, now we're starting to get the what I am used to seeing for this side of the map's bite rate. Let's go towards the other side of the shore a bit. And I may actually try some active casting with the second line rather than drifting with it. See if I can go up along those patches of algae there and pull something in. Bring this retrieval speed down. It may not work very well with the spinner here. We'll just keep to the drifting, I suppose. Go to T. The thunder on this map seems a little more crispy than other maps. Alright, sun is starting to set. Let's see, when you're... I'm wondering, trying to think of a good strategy here for nighttime since the drifting isn't terribly good. Maybe if I go along the shore and try to get some burbot or something, possibly. Reel this in and take a look at the shoreline around here. What do we got? Yeah, let's go over to that side, see if we can get on the, see if we can drop anchor and get a burbot or something over there. Get some bottom feeding. There we go. And this rod here should already be set up for it. Yep. All right, let's see if we can catch something. It's that too far. There we go. boat decides to just kind of spin around that anchor, I guess. Recast that since it drifted quite a ways away from the algae patch and lily pads. But maybe we'll get lucky and get a couple burbot while the night lasts, and then when the sun starts coming back up, resume the drift. Some more tea. Not much biting yet. There's some weird amount of tension being put on the line here, though. Awkward. Yep. Doesn't seem like we're going to get any burbot at this spot. Any other spots nearby that I can cast towards? I guess I can throw a night crawler on and go down the middle here, see if a catfish or something might bite. Doubtful, but worth a shot. Doesn't seem like this strategy is going to work either. But as soon as the sun comes back up, we'll just get back to drifting. So we got Sigil should be worth an alright amount for that size. Should be worth a few silver. But really hoping for once I'll be able to fill a cafe order out here. They've eluded me so far. Well, nothing's going to be biting on this. Anything else I can try while it's night over here? Could try throwing a smaller hook on, see if I can get some rough, I guess. Give that a shot. Some size 20s on. We'll stick to night crawlers. I can't put a night crawler on that small hook, so we'll go with a red worm. Yeah. In the rain in the nighttime, I'm gonna chug a lot of tea here. Not really sure if Ruffle hit in this area because of the current, but fortunately, kind of like a Volkov at nighttime, if you're trolling or drifting on here, there's really not much to be done. Doesn't seem like anything's interested in the worm. It's while we're sitting there. Let me check the some of the records here. Yeah, it seems that at least wherever they are hitting, there's algae for lamprey, which could be an interesting thing to go after at some point. Really not sure what effect the rain is going to have on the species here, though. It's going to put them in a higher bite rate range or lower during the daytime. Well, this doesn't seem to be catching anything here. I guess we'll try our luck with nighttime drifting. Really need to figure out a good spot where I can just park and not do drifting on this map. Because having to deal with the nighttime is pretty terrible. You know, now we got fog in addition to the rain and the night. Just giving us 0 visibility. Well, I guess we'll see if anything bites, but I doubt it being nighttime. But hopefully, once the sun comes up, we'll be able to catch a lot more of the Maya and such because it's raining. Anyone else having some good luck at any bodies of water tonight? See a lot of carp being fished up in chat. Guess we'll just go with no flashlight since it's so foggy. Where we at on the map here, going on? So, fortunately, this is one of the stretches that's pretty good during the daytime, but it is what it is. Everyone having a good weekend so far? You just can't get that comfort bar to stay up. T's not doing the trick tonight. At least the current seems to be keeping us in the middle right now. Hey, Tooties. Getting ready for bed. Hope you had a good day fishing and doing whatever else you've had going on this weekend. Hey, Canadian. Just another day of drifting on Seversky and hating the nighttime here. I really need to find a good spot here where I can just camp and fish from the shore at nighttime. But it seems like the best spots for that are down here, which doesn't make it very conducive for kicking back into drifting afterwards. So you've been catching some carp. How's your weekend going up there? Oh, no worries. Yeah, I've been putting the messages in both chat 1 and 2 and sticking in 2, but I'm not sure. Like, I think there may be a delay because I'll put it into one of the chats and then immediately switch to the other chat. So I may need to check that out and see if there's like a 20-30 second delay before it actually posts the message up, because I had someone else mention the same thing yesterday. It's going all right here. We had some crazy weather a couple days ago. My brother lives about 40 minutes from me and was without power for over 48 hours. Had a whole bunch of wind, a tornado in the area. Crazy, crazy little freak storm. Get back towards the center here. I guess we're doing okay. Yeah, we should drift around the corner and be all right here. Yeah, he's all good. Just obviously frustrated with the power company for taking so long to get the power back on. We had luckily all I had was a few branches down, but had one friend, tree came down on their roof. Another friend's sister had a tree fall on her car. It was only like a 10-minute storm without even a whole lot of rain. Just crazy, crazy winds. All right, son, you can come up now so I can get back to catching fish already. So far, this is all I've caught. All these obviously right before nighttime hit. I think what I need to start doing is maybe start the stream about 30 minutes earlier than usual so that I have a good bit of daylight, so that way the first 20 minutes of the stream are not just nighttime and catching nothing. Daz, has it been very hot for you? It's been, the last couple of times I've been here, the daytime's still been okay. No crazy bite rate like there was a few weeks ago, but nighttime's just always it's like Quarry seems to be the only mid-game lake where you control at night and still catch things. But I figured since Volkov has been kind of a bust the last couple times I was out there, I'd come back and try a little bit of Seversky drifting again. Let's get back towards the center here. I'm also not entirely sure how, I think the rain's supposed to clear up soon based on the in-game forecast, but I'm curious how the rain is going to impact the bite rate. It did allow me with what during the daytime up in this section, I was catching sunfish and one of the sitchel, which I usually don't get on that side of the map, so it seems like it's probably it's probably good to fish out here when it's raining, but according to the in-game forecast, it's supposed to be clear tomorrow. Yep. Or today, I guess it is now. There's something. Let's see what we've got. Looks like Asperide, maybe? Or chub? Okay, I think it's a chub. Yeah, there we go. Hey, a spin fishing game. All right. Slowly making my way to 70%. Check some more tea here. Where are you fishing tonight, Canadian? Getting all them carp out at Amber? Last stream, let's see. It was a short stream. I was only on for about 45 minutes, but we got a decent bit of pike, but nothing crazy. We did fill actually a couple of cafe orders out of Volkov, which was nice. There's one pike short of a cafe order that was worth like 100 silver, but got one for I think perch and got a few Xander, which I think I was able to fill a Xander order if I remember correctly. Still out of Amber? Alrighty. Yeah, I'm thinking next week I'm going to do some research and go ahead and bite the bullet and do my first trip out to Sura, see if I can catch anything there. All right, now it's finally sun's coming up, so hopefully we can start pulling some stuff in here. Go ahead and reposition back towards the middle of the water. I think there's something on line 1. Yeah, Sura, I'll probably just do carp fishing from the shoreline. There's a little perch. I just got to look and see like what kind of tackle I need to prepare for out there. I'm assuming it's probably pop-up and boilie type stuff, which if that's the case, I'll probably wait till later in the week when people have started posting what the active baits are, and then I can pick up the correct stuff before I go out there. Unless, does it have a tackle shop that's regular MSRP? Appreciate that. Yeah, I've got a few selections off of my but those with the price of them, I want to try to make sure I get the exact right formula so that I'm not wasting any of the good stuff. It's got all the shops. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, fish. The sun's up. You can come on and start biting again. Might trade some of these lures out if I need to. Renew ticket. Let's see if the old faithful blue snowflake gives us a little bit better bite rate. I feel like the rain is causing the current to push me more towards the embankment than usual. Normally I don't have to reposition so much on this side of the river. out to the center here. There we go. Yeah, so I've done, I did 2 of the trips early on, but yeah, that's kind of my plan with the final trip is to wait until a higher level when the XP grind starts to get a little bit more brutal. I still kind of wish you could, I think they should have limited the gold trips to 3, but they should have left silver trips as unlimited as an option for players that are just wanting to get out there for the XP, since the silver typically, in my experience anyways, if you pay to go out to one of those trips with silver, you're basically going to just break even. Oh, 6 million XP is rough. I'll try some other thing I want to try next week is I got the Fishing Barents Strait game. I haven't installed it yet, but I figure I might install it, do like an hour of it just to familiarize myself with the controls and whatnot, and maybe try some streams of that at some point. Well, so a low-level player could get to max level quickly that way, but they would have like no money really. They would, because all their money would be going to doing the trips each time, and they wouldn't really be able to buy any of the gear or anything. I don't know. It's a good point. Really, I think the answer is just they need to go back and make it so that cafe orders award some XP as well, so that way you can go on any of these early game maps and get a little more rewarded for chasing after the orders. A little Pontic Shad. Yeah, all right, we're still kind of in the middle, so don't need to reposition yet. Yeah, I think like finding a good balance of the XP that they reward, but something appropriate for the level of the map, I think would be a great thing to do. Yeah, that's true. I guess it would be, instead of saving up and getting like an HSV, 2 trips out to the, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like you're breaking even, so it's kind of like you just get through the levels quickly, but then you still kind of would need to go back to some earlier maps to get silver to get equipment together. But yeah, I guess the XP would be a little too much. I do think they need to add some better ways of rewarding XP from cafe orders and such, so that way some of those grindy levels don't feel quite so hard, quite so hardcore. Yeah, that too could work. Just maybe, or maybe make it 3 gold trips and 3 silver trips, so you can do 6 trips total. Or even potentially like, I don't know, maybe make the make it unlimited silver trips, but it doesn't include any rental gear or boat tickets. That could be an option as well. So that way, if you want to go out there, you're going to be spending a lot of money on the boat tickets, and you've got to get gear that can already handle itself out there. But that could be an interesting option as well. Ultimately, though, I just want to see more ways that, because I think the cafe orders they're almost like a daily quest system, and I think it's back on Oldberg, and especially Winding Rivulet. I used to love just trying to chase down and fill as many cafe orders as I could to the rather than just fishing for a bunch of carp. And the issue there is that if you're doing that, you're probably just not getting a whole lot of XP because the orders are for like bleak and rough and stuff like that. Apply to be a dev. I don't know if I speak the Russian language well enough for that, but I'd be happy to send them some feedback about it. Yeah, there's a decent little sunfish. I think we've got something on line 1. Yeah. Another sunfish. I'm gonna go and change the lure out on the other line since it has not been catching much here. Let's try the black handmade spinner. Those did pretty well for me in the past. I'm curious to see how, I don't know what the timeline for it is, but I know that Fishing Planet announced that they were adding deep sea fishing with like a multiplayer boat. I'm curious to see if they're going to do the same thing as RF4 did and make it just the end game map instead of putting it somewhere in the middle. Hey, there's a Shemaya. It'd be fun if they had if Fishing Planet did the multiplayer boat and some stuff like that in the early game. It'd be fun to get some players together and do a stream of all of us just fishing together on the boat. But if it's something like end game, I'm not going through that ground. Yeah, there's some really cool things like that. RF4 does most things so much better than Fishing Planet, but yeah, that's one of the things, like being able to hold the fish to get a good sense of scale on it would be nice, and really just being able to. The biggest thing I miss is being able to see other players fight their fish and stuff like that. It's it was always a fun feature on there. There's a little chub. Yeah, like that's there. So, in my opinion, what Fishing Planet has as its strengths over RF4, like as I said, RF4 I think does the actual fishing way better. And especially the biggest thing for RF4 is the whole fishing behavior change. So it's not like fish by numbers where you're just going by the spreadsheet of, oh, if it's this weather, you go to this spot using this bait, and it's always going to be the same fish. But where Fishing Planet has a few cool features that I really hope at some point we see in RF4, but the multiplayer aspect I think is a much better because it actually is more like multiplayer where you're seeing the other players with you and watching them fight their fish and catch their fish and hold them and stuff like that. So that's a big factor. The fish fight is a give or take. So in this one, bringing the fish in is more realistic, but I think it's also for that realism, it kind of sacrifices the fun a lot of times. Like it's either the fish are way too easy to bring in, or you're just kind of reeling in for a long time. Whereas Fishing Planet has a much more arcadey fight system where you're constantly like juggling the different tensions, which is cool. But this one, as a whole, is a lot more fun. It's even like talking about the grind. Like there is definitely a huge grind on RF4, but the upside of that is that there's not like a huge difference between going after a specific target fish versus just fishing and doing what you want to do as far as XP gains go. Since those fish that really give a lot of XP over everything else are rare species that you can't really go out of your way to target. On Fishing Planet, depending on what level range you're at, there's basically a specific place where you're always going to catch just the right type of fish, and the XP difference is so drastic that that's basically all you end up fishing because it also has a lot of XP per level. And like to put it in perspective, it could be like, all right, you catch 9 species of fish at a body of water, they'll give 1 XP. Well, if you catch the particular fish, it's going to give 10 XP. And you know you can always catch that 10 XP fish at a particular spot with a high bite rate. So why would you bother fishing anything else when you need the XP? So that's the downside there. And I think a lot of that is much more balanced on here where, yeah, there are some fish that are like Volcom, for example. When you get salmon, XP is great. But catching everything else, like while you might catch 1 salmon that gives you 20,000 XP, you're probably going to catch 20 other fish that give you 1,000 XP by the time you get that salmon. So you're not like just mindlessly going after one fish over and over again to get the maximum XP. But the multiplayer aspect definitely is better on Fishing Planet. Another thing I might try sometime, I don't know how many of you have Call of the Wild: The Angler. I haven't played it yet. I got it when it was on sale a while back, and just haven't really messed with it. But I think it's got multiplayer, similar to the Call of the Wild Hunter series. If so, maybe that could be one to try with some of us on here sometime. Didn't like it? Yeah, I've heard a lot of people weren't big fans of it. I know one of the big things, especially when it first came out, is it was one lake with 12 fish species, which is pretty weak. But it might be fun multiplayer, I don't know. Now we're getting a good bit of citral bite rate. I'd like to see that. That should be a decent little profit there. And this one's still not catching a whole lot, but I'll keep it on there for now. Yeah, I got to I want to say level 48 or 49 on Fishing Planet a few years ago when I played, and it was fun, but it just started becoming very repetitive because I got to where I needed so much XP to get anywhere that I was doing the whole grind the same fish over and over again cycle. Haven't played since. Hey, that's a decent little ponic shad there. Yeah, absolutely. It's honestly, if I had played RF4 first, I probably would have never gotten into Fishing Planet either. So I'd heard of RF4 and I've seen like random things of it pop up over the years, but never got around to trying it in Little Pond Chad. And so ended up going with the Fishing Planet first and got a ways on there. I think really the main thing that was going for me on Fishing Planet is I was playing with a couple friends and that multiplayer aspect was a lot of fun, but as I started out leveling them, we kind of weren't able to effectively play together anyways and hung it up. Another shad. The other thing RF4 has going over all the competition, because there are a couple other simulators that I see a lot of people playing, but like the crafting is, and the reason why I harp on it so much, I really think the RF4 devs need to double down on the crafting system, because none of the other fishing games out there have crafting really. And so because RF4 is the only one that offers it, I think doubling down on it to really draw people to the game would be really cool. Heck, I'd even love to see them add in the ability to craft your own graphite rods and stuff like that. There's actually something I used to, in real life, when I did a lot of fly fishing, I did tie my own flies, which was a lot of fun. I've never made my own rod, which I've watched videos on. It doesn't seem super hard, just something I never got around to doing. Something popping around on line 1 there. Exactly, yeah. And so I think doubling down on that crafting system, like make the cooking a little more useful, so that there's a reason to cook some of the other stuff, I think would be a big thing. But add in, obviously if they add in fly fishing, the ability to tie your own flies, the ability to craft rods would be great. We've already got leaders, which is nice. I think various little things like that would be a good thing to double down on. Where are we at? We're up here. Too bad. What I'd love to see in the future is with the Call of the Wild series, I'd love to see them develop a game with like the hunting is good on there. I think maybe like make it into where you have both the fishing and hunting in one game, and then adding some more like crafting and survival elements to it would be really cool. There's our first pike of the night, 1.5 kilo. Not too bad for this river. That's one thing, like there's the crafting and survival genre is such a huge genre, but none of them really go into much depth when it comes to fishing or hunting. They're all very generic on those aspects. I'd love to see a crafting and survival game where maybe, not to the level of detail, like it'd be a really technically challenging to make a good survival crafting game that's got the level of simulation detail that something like RF4 has, but at least something to where, you can choose your different baits and lures and they have different effects with the reel in styles. Like you can do some level of simulation to them that's more than what any of the games out there really offer. Be great to see. What many fish are we up to here? 24. Yeah, not a. I guess the rain is definitely affecting the bite rate. Also, I guess I'm gonna try to reposition back towards the center a little bit here. Go. I still think the best quality of life thing that they could do here on RF4 though is just get rid of the snag system. Every time it happens, it's just well, let me log off. It looked like that had a fish on for a second there. Got a fish on? Yeah, I got something on line 1. grasp, I think. Yeah, there we go. Almost a kilo. Really hoping I can fill, even if it's not a particularly good order, I'd like to be able to fill one cafe order out here for once. Hopefully I'll be able to pull one off. Got a fish on that line now. This current keeps pulling me over to the shore. A little tiny sitchel. Yeah. Yeah, that Barren Strait game I got, I think it's less of a fishing sim and more of like a commercial fishing type boat liner type of system, but I figure I'll check it out at some point. Could be fun. The other popular online sim is what is the? I think it's just the Fisher Online. That's what it's called. Which to me looked like kind of a simplified RF4 without the cracking and stuff like that. But it has neat looking fish models. Other than that, it didn't seem like there was like much tackle variety or anything like that. I haven't ever given it a try. Yeah, it's one that like I keep an eye on it in case it ever goes like on sale for a few bucks on Steam or something. I'll give it a try, but I think it's like it's only like $15, but whenever I look at it, it seems like it seems from what I can tell that some of the tackle that you have to get has to be either bought with gold or won in online tournaments. So like the progression is kind of locked in that way. And I don't know what the microtransaction prices are like on those. So it's something I might try at some point, but it seems to be of the like this and Fishing Planet and that one, it seems to be the least popular of the three. Hey, there's our first Terran of the night. Oh yeah, these new game prices, which what I hate with especially like even consoles are stuck with this now is that everything being digital now, it's like, yeah, you'll have occasional like Steam sales and stuff like that, but you no longer have like the old days where a game's been out for a couple years, so now you can go buy a greatest hits version or something like that for like $20. It's basically it's going to be that $70 price point unless it's on sale, and it'll be like that forever, which is just crazy. Like one example I always think of is RimWorld, which is like $35, and it's been out for almost 10 years. I've never seen it go on sale for less than $30, which is just crazy to me. Definitely a problem introduced with the online only marketplace for games. But that's where I'm going to be. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And even like this year's Steam sale seemed pretty mediocre compared to usual. I picked up a few random things, but it only seemed to last a week this year when in past years it's usually been 2 weeks. And just I didn't really see much much of a value in it this year compared to past years. Shed. We're drifting almost full sideways here now. Proper drift. Yeah, that's kind of the main thing that has made me, aside from like just not seeing a lot of people seem to be playing it, one of the reasons I never got around to trying Fisher Online is the whole like, you got to buy the game plus it's got microtransactions that seem almost required. Not a fan of that. At least in RF4, it's like, well, you can try for free and I mean, RF4 I think is extremely generous. Like I've never felt pressure to put money into RF4. I've put some in because I like the developers have given us such a great game. I'm happy to support them here and there, but consumers like Fishing Planet, by the time I got to the second body of water, I had to go premium because the rate of things and plus like the cost of licensing and everything on the lakes was so high that it's like, okay, I have to go premium. This game's just not going to be playable. But with the Fisher Online, it seems like you're having to pay to buy the game and you're going to have to buy a lot of your gear with microtransactions, which that's where I start getting like, microtransactions for like cosmetics or convenience is one thing. It becomes basically necessary because they it seems like you can't even get the higher gear tackle in that by in-game currency. You have to buy it. So yeah, absolutely. Like and with R4, like you definitely do notice the difference if you get premium. That XP difference is absolutely very noticeable, but you can still get by without it. That said, I know a lot of people have talked about whether or not RF4 should bring maps to North America. And, there are some people of the camp that know it should stay Europe because there's plenty of North America fishing games out there. But there's also a lot of people that just really love this type of fishing you get in North America. My opinion is keep developing things for the mainline game in Europe. Release a DLC that adds some North America maps. Be a great way for people to throw some more money towards the developers, and those that aren't interested in the North America fishing, they can ignore it. I think that would be fair. Because I do feel like if there is one big complaint in RF4, which I can't imagine their development team is very big, and because they are so generous with the fact that you really can play this whole game without ever throwing any money at it, I can't imagine that their development team has a whole lot of money to work with, and so development updates are very infrequent on the game. If they could find a way to release some content that more people would pay for to help add another developer or two, that would be great, I think. Yeah, absolutely. That is the way to do it when you can, and that's where I'll probably end up. We got an ad break coming up here in about 15 seconds. Those of you that are subscribers won't get any ads. Appreciate the support. Everyone else will be fishing through, and we'll see you on the other side. See, I'd be surprised if it's even 20 developers. It could be one of those teams that's only like 5 or 6 people. But yeah, I'll probably end up buying the unlimited access to Norway just to throw some more support at the devs. One of the main reasons I've gotten premium a few times, but the only reason, just as my own reason of not getting it, is because I'd feel pressure to have to get on for that happy hour. That's just a habitual thing to me, and it's kind of why I ignore playing MMOs these days, because if I feel like if I'm missing out on something I'm paying for, then I feel like I've spent my money unwisely. And if I'm paying for premium, then if I miss one day of happy hour, I'm going to be like kicking myself over it. So if I've got some time where I've got like I know there's going to be 3 days straight where I'm going to be on at least an hour a night, I'll buy premium for that. But for me personally, that's the only reason I'm not always premium, because I'd feel that pressure to have to get on. And when I get that, when I start feeling that way, I start losing desire to play the game for fun. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why I'd love to see them offer more options like you've got the unlimited access to maps as one feature. I wouldn't mind if they were like, hey, make a one-time purchase of like $15 and you can always have a keep net size of 150 instead of 100, something like that. Uh, I'd love to have some more things where I could purchase in the game that are useful to throw them some more money. But I definitely do plan on getting the Norway unlimited access to both have access to it, but also show some additional support to the devs. A little perch here. Yeah, the happy hour system, that's just it's probably a very unique thing to me individually, but that's just it's ultimately what has killed MMOs for me, because all of them have those like login daily type systems and stuff now, where I just I feel pressured to play the game um, if I'm paying for it, and then that's just where I get to where I want to be able to play the game when I want to for fun and not because I have to because I'm paying for something. Hey, this timing came out all right. We're about to get to the end of the river here, right as nighttime is approaching. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, absolutely. Like and that's the thing about these smaller indie games. Like they may not be polished and everything like an Activision game or something like that, but the developers really put their heart into the gameplay of it. Like that's what they ultimately care about, and so that's where you get these. Hey, spin fishing game. That's two today. You get these smaller indie games with a smaller dev team that can ultimately make just better games. I think the greatest example of that is Stardew Valley. That's a game that was literally one guy, and I remember like I was following the development of that game from when it was kind of first announced, and it was about I want to say it was like 8 years of development or something like that. And occasionally he would reach out for help with like some sound or artwork stuff, but for the most part, I mean, it was all developed by one guy, and that thing that is, I think, one of the most purchased games in the last like 10 years, and he did such a great job with it. And it goes to show, like, if you don't need a huge team of the most experienced developers, if you just have your core developers and your core designers as people that just are really passionate about the project, you're going to be able to make a good game. Something a lot of the big studios can learn from, for sure. There's be a lot of chub over here. That's where like Fishing Planet certainly is able to have more updates and stuff like that compared to RF4, because they do have a much bigger audience, and because you kind of really can't go very far in that game without paying, it does have a lot better income. So I absolutely would not fault the RF4 devs if they wanted to introduce like I mentioned, like something like a set of North America maps that are a paid DLC to help support the development of the game. Here's another perch. Hey, there's our first rud of the night. Grab a little bit of tea here. Just about to the end of the line here. Then I'll have to teleport back up and resume the drifting. I'll probably, because it'll be nighttime, I'll probably see if I can do some fishing from the dock or something. Another road. Got something on line one again. I think we just hit the end. Yep. All right. Little ponted shed. Bring this line in. And another sunfish. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and head back to the docks and go ahead and check the cafe, see if we've got anything we can, any orders we can fill before we get back out on the water here. Yeah, there's that package comes with like a reel and stuff like that too, which is it's nice for sure. I have to take a look at all the options. I don't think our rud were that large. Well, one of them actually was, surprisingly, so maybe we'll get lucky and get a second rud for that order. Well, actually, it's about to expire, so... So I think during the night, I'm going to try to fill this bleak order from the docks while we're waiting for the light to come back up. Anything else we might be able to... Nope, our Shemaya wasn't big enough. Definitely didn't get that big of a thing. Okay, so nope. Oh wait, maybe able to get the perch. What was the perch one? Nope. Okay, one day I'm gonna be able to fill a cafe order here. But since the sun is about to set, instead of hopping back out for some drifting right now, let's see if we can catch a few bleak right off of the dock here. Let's see, switch down to smaller bobber, tiny hook, and some casters. And bring this down to like 50s. And we'll go 30. There we go. Yeah, I agree. Like that much at once is a. I agree. That's an awful lot. That'd be like if you drop $500, you get unlimited access and boat rentals to like all the maps, maybe. But I prefer like getting the one-time access to or unlimited access to Norway and some more days of premium here and there where I know I'll have days where I'm not going to feel pressured. I'll just be playing anyways to do the happy hour. Be my way of supporting. But I do think that I love that RF4 is so generous with the free to play, and I just want to see them provide more to make to get people to pay something to help to fund their development. I don't know what the solution is. I mean the Norway gold trips I think was great. It seemed like that was pretty successful. A lot of people were doing those gold trips, but I just don't know with the current setup what else they could do to really do. I think little things like maybe the keep net size increases, like a one-time thing you could buy, I think would be great. Maybe like I guess they do have every map has the unlimited access to them. I don't know if those are priced reasonably. Like these lower ones, and everything are okay, but once you start getting to those higher ones where it's like $20 for unlimited access, it's kind of it's not bad, but I think because it's so cheap to travel to those maps anyways, it's not enough to really entice players to want to drop that money on that. So I think finding some better offerings they could do that players would want to pay for would be a key theme without doing it in a way that's going to make the free to play players that just don't have the money to spend or on the game to they don't feel like they're kind of getting shafted by it. Man, if I can't even catch any bleak, what's the deal here? This cafe just never wants to accept me as a filler of orders, clearly. Now, something I think that they could do that would be reasonable, that I think a lot of players would be willing to spend money on, is boat rentals. Like maybe make it so you can pay like $3 to $5 whatever that equates to in various currencies from there, depending on the lake. Maybe some of the more popular lakes, maybe a little bit more, but if you could do that and have basically just permanent boat rental, I think a lot of players would be open to being able to pay. Like, don't change the silver cost of boat rental tickets, but as the ease of convenience, I would absolutely, like, if I, as much as I go to like Quarry and Volkov, I'd happily pay like $15 and never have to worry about making sure I have boat tickets out there. Yeah, it's weird. Like normally at every other body of water, it's hard to not catch bleak when you're throwing a small hook out there. I guess Seversky's bleak or a little more picky. Yeah, I think just like with the permanent boat thing, like I think keeping the silver cost would be, free to play players would not have any complaints about it, and then those who just want to have something to help support the devs, but it gives them something that's just a because at the end of the day, the boat costs other than Norway are so cheap that you don't even think about them, but you do like it like I actually had earlier. I need to make sure I buy another ticket before I leave here. It's just that peace of mind of not worrying about, oh, did I update my ticket rental? Am I going to be stuck with a fish on and run out of rental time, something like that? I would definitely pay a few bucks on each lake to have permanent boat rental. Maybe even like a another house that can only be bought with gold. That's because you got the little house on Mosquito that everybody gets for free. You've got the extremely expensive has to be bought with silver house on Quarry. Maybe making a new lodge that players could buy for like $8 or something. Sure, there's plenty of players that would do that. Yeah, something would make something for boat rentals a peace of mind. Absolutely would be good to do. Yeah, I think there's a few options they could explore for things that would be useful enough to players willing to throw some money at them, but wouldn't hurt the players that just don't have the means to at the time. Because it's kind of like the I mean, like I said, I need to get active in the forums and throw some ideas. I have been involved in some other online games as a sort of consultant, and at one point even a game master for it. I do have a lot of good ideas, and I've got a bit of enough of a programming background to be able to suggest the systems to make them work. But I need to try to get in touch more with the devs on here, throw some ideas their way. So I think it's like the best. Hey Twitch, how's it going? You know, I you say that was actually something I was considering earlier this year. I was looking into making a top-down pixel art fishing game with a couple friends that where it would take some of the ideas that RF4 has as far as like rotating fish behavior based on weighted tables and stuff, but wouldn't be because it takes a lot of development time to build obviously something like first person with simulated stuff, but you can make a pretty easy like push a button and then it just compares some weighted tables based on the tackle you're using, the location, stuff like that. So it was actually something I was considering doing earlier this year, but maybe it may still be something I pick up at some point. But yeah, there's a lot of input I like to provide. That's one of the things I've always, any game I play, I'm always thinking about like what can be done with this game reasonably that would help the developers and make the players happier. Yeah, it is a lot of work no matter how you approach it. But part of the reason I was looking at it is because I wanted to learn not the Unity engine. There was can't remember the name off the top of my head, but there's another engine that people have started using recently, and I wanted to take a stab at it and learn that engine. And so that was kind of the idea I had, but I ended up not pursuing it. Yeah, I just kind of been discussing some ideas for ways to monetize some new features in RF4 because I think that both the biggest strength and the biggest weakness of RF4 is how free it is. Like you never have to pay a cent and you can enjoy every aspect of this game. The downside of that is that it doesn't have enough things enough quality of life things that players with the means to throw some money can spend the money on, and so development doesn't get a whole lot of income to work with. So I'd love to see some more features added that wouldn't are basically just quality of life things that won't impact the way current free-to-play players play the game in any way. But players that do have some money that they can throw the devs' way can get some useful things out of. Okay, this float fishing here is not working at all. What else can I guess I can try throwing a worm out there, see if anything bites on that. Sun needs to come back up so I can get back to drifting. Where you been fishing lately, Twitch? Yeah, I think like right now it's it's in a great spot for free to play by far. Like that's amazing how much they allow for free. I think what I'd love to see is some of the ideas that I was discussing to things that they could offer as options to pay for, because I don't like the premium option isn't for everybody. Like for me personally, I've gotten premium. I'll get it here and there for the game, but just as like a personal reason for me, like is the whole happy hour thing. I love the XP bonus, but happy hour is one of those mechanics where I feel like if I miss a day where I've got happy hour, I'm screwing up basically. So like I end up feeling pressured to play the game when I may not want to. So I don't think that like the premium aspect is for everybody. But something like they have the unlimited access to bodies of water, which is okay. I'm sure some people take advantage of that, but something like what I would use is if I could pay like $5 per body of water to have permanent boat rental access there, so I don't have to worry about whether or not I updated my tickets or anything like that. I'd happily do stuff like that. Maybe like a one-time purchase to expand your keep net size. Little things like that where it doesn't negatively impact, it doesn't take away anything from the free to play, and it doesn't really add anything majorly advantageous to do so, but would give some players some alternative things that they could put money towards to help support the development. I think would be great. Let's try making this a little bit deeper. Maybe I just have it set too shallow. I swear this is allegedly a 5-star float lake. I've never had good luck float fishing on here. I think that's a lie. But see, if I really wanted to make something else we were talking about earlier, I'd love to see a game that incorporates like a traditional survival crafting game, but has really in-depth fishing and hunting like this or the Call of the Wild series, things of that nature. Okay, so like fishing down here in this little spot. Makes sense. The first time I traveled out here, I was doing some carp fishing over here, and I did get a grass carp pretty quickly. And then, like my second cast, I got a snag, and I just haven't been back since because I hate snags so much. But see, like even with the current, you look at winding rivulet, it's great for float fishing. Just let it drift down with the current, and I can catch stuff left and right there. That's that's right. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, Twitch. I think, and they are so generous with it, and I have mad respect for them for how reasonable they are with like the free to play in this game. I would just love to see some. I just want to see them because the offerings they do have for stuff you can buy besides premium, I don't think interest enough people to want to pay for those, or maybe they're overpriced in a lot of people's mind. So I'd love to see them offer some new quality of life things that some players would be able to throw a few dollars their way for and feel like they're getting some value out of it. Because I definitely want the devs to get more support. So I'd love to come up with ideas for them to. And one of the other things we were talking about is like a new lodge you could buy with money that you could access. So that way you've got the quarry lodge with silver, you've got the free mosquito lodge, and you could have like a nice little like gold manor that some players would love to. I'm sure they'd love to have. And you're absolutely right, Canadian. If I get snagged at a spot once, I'm done with that spot. Never again. I missed a fish there. The one that got away. That was our white whale moment, I'm sure. Yeah, and I think that the sea trips seem to have been very successful. I've done 2 of the 3. I'm saving my 3rd one. I honestly I'm probably going to end up buying the unlimited access to the sea, but I want to save that last one where you get the rental gear and everything included for a later level when I really need the XP. But yeah, that one was definitely a really successful thing, and a lot of people love the Norway stuff. So I think focusing some more stuff in that direction. I know they've got to have another saltwater map in mind, since they introduced the whole marine fishing system plus salt resistant tackle. You've got to assume, as much as people want the next update to be fly fishing, I think the best thing they could do is add a new like level 20-ish deep sea area. And honestly, I think something that would probably be, I'd imagine, wouldn't be too difficult for them development wise. I think they should take, like right now, you have to be level 34 to unlock Norwegian Sea. Throw something in right here around like level 20, where it's pretty much copy and paste Norwegian Sea, but doesn't have a boat. So it's just like the town and the shoreline. So you can do like fishing from the shore. So you can get that sort of Norwegian Sea experience to some degree and gain some marine skill experience, things of that nature at an earlier level. I think that would be an awesome thing that shouldn't be too difficult for them to incorporate. Yes, and I know some players have had missed another one. Dang, have had some, and I understand their complaints. They don't necessarily want to see bass fishing because there are so many games out there. Like they're scared that bass fishing would become the fishing style, which I don't think it would in RF4, honestly. But so I personally wouldn't mind seeing it. But I also think there are so many other North American fishing options that other games haven't really incorporated that RF4 could definitely go after. A great example would be in Tennessee, there's a lake, Lake Nickajack. And there's a species of fish there. I don't remember what they're called, but they are huge. They're almost like freshwater, not like the pumpkin seed sunfish, but like the ocean sunfish. They're not anywhere near as big as the ones in the ocean, but they're still huge. So there's some various North American fish that they could add in the game that aren't just like the typical bass. Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, like if they wanted, they could do North America plus deep sea fishing in one go. Just go to like add in the Gulf of Mexico or the Florida Keys or something like that, and suddenly you've got some North American species and you've got another saltwater map. It'd be great. Or the Great Lakes would be a cool one too. Yeah. I mean, they technically already did go international with Norway, but yeah, I would love to see more continents. Now, another thing, going back to our earlier discussion about comparing to Fishing Plant, another thing RF4 has over Fishing Plant big time is the number of species per map. Now the sun's up, let's go ahead and get back to drifting. Just as this map, for example, all these species on one map means you can do a lot on every single map that they release. On Fishing Planet, it's like 5 or 6 species per map. So even though they have a ton of different maps in all over the world on Fishing Planet, like when you're on one map, there's only a few things to catch. So RF4 does a really great job of making the most out of the bodies of water that they include. All right, go. Get some lines in the water. Right. Absolutely, Twitch. Like it baffles me when you have these fishing simulators where it's like, all right, even though all these species would be on all of these maps, we're just not going to include them. We're just going to include a few. Like, why not? You've already got them coded. Just add them to the tables. Let me spend all day on one lake and catch 10 different species that day. I think for a future stream that I'll do for some fun, I need to find a good capture card, but I've still got some of the old bass fishing games for Nintendo and Super Nintendo. So maybe I'll do a retro fishing game stream one day. Pull some of those bad boys out. I still vividly remember the NES game as Super Black Bass on there, and the biggest thing I remember is that carp on there look like fiery dragons in the water. It's weird. Ooh, that's a nice citral there. So movement on line one. Yeah, maybe not. I think it's just hitting the bottom of the water there. Do have something on line two, though. I need to put the boat back towards the center again. There's another decent shad. Go. I love when the bite rate is good here because you get so many different species of fish. Ooh, over 200 grams. That's a real nice shad. One day I'm going to come out here with 3 light casting setups so I can really take in the XP. Because I do feel like this map, if you have three good ultralight setups, you could make some really good XP out here. And if I can get like, I think there was a cafe order for 2 right over 300 grams, or 2 over 250 grams, and we've got 1 so far. If I can get another good rud, we can fill that cafe order. So what about any of you fans of the hunting games like Way of the Hunter or Call of the Wild the Hunter? I don't really know what other ones are nowadays besides those 2. Okay, we got something on line 2 again. I guess not. It sure looked like there was. We'll recast this. We got on line 1. Hey, there's our first Volgazander of the night. All right. Yeah, I have both. I've played both Call of the Wild the Hunter and Way of the Hunter, and I like them. I'm not very good at them, but I do enjoy them. And it's a shame to hear that the Call of the Wild the Angler wasn't. I guess just wasn't as good as their Hunter game. There was another. It's on the subject of old retro fishing games. I think there were 2 or 3 games back on Game Boy called Legend of the River King. Interesting little game for its time. Yeah, see, that's what I feel, Canadian, is that it should have been an added system to the Way of the Hunter so that you could do some fishing in between hunting. I felt the exact same way when it was announced. And I agree, Twitch. Like from what I've seen, it definitely does seem a lot more arcadey. I think it'd be fun to do like a stream with some viewers of it, because it does have the multiplayer. It could be fun for all of us to go out and like do some fishing on there sometime, maybe. But I have it, but I've just never played it myself because I've heard so many complaints about it. But that Legend of the River King series was really forced time, and all the fishing games then were very arcadey. But it's a fishing game, but also an RPG, whereas like there's a storyline to it, and it actually had a combat system when you weren't fishing. If you're walking around, you could like fight bears and giant bees and stuff like that. Very unique little game. Might have to. I've still got my cartridge of that. I'll have to see if I can hook something up to it. Like I mean, I guess technically I could run an emulator, but if I could bring my original Game Boy out and hook it up to a capture card, that might be something fun to play as well for a retro stream. Another decent Pontic shad there. Those the Misty Nest earlier. It says Bavarian wild berry is the tea tonight. Almost out of it here though. There's also that really weird fishing game that a guy's been developing recently. I think M Dog did a YouTube video on it. I've seen a couple other people that it's like Fishing XL or something like that, where it's old retro like mid 90s style first person graphics, and it's kind of like an open world type of deal. Very interesting looking. There's a perch. I kind of wonder, now that I think about it, you know, the roguelite and roguelike genre have been really popular. Like the past few years, they're making all sorts of crazy genre blends with it. Like I've even seen a roguelike hockey game. I don't think anyone's done one for fishing. That could be interesting. I could think of some ways to pull it off as well, as far as design concepts. Might be something to look into at some point. Yeah, the Bavarian Wildberry tea is delicious. Don't knock on it, Twitch. It's great. It's one of those weird ones that comes in like this. Let's see if I can get the camera to show it here. It comes in like the pyramid style bags. Yeah, there we go. But it's pretty tasty. Yeah. Reposition myself, going straight towards the fallen tree here. Yeah, it's like it's Lipton brand, but it's their like premium line they do. It's pretty good. Very sweet tea. Got something in line one. Ooh, chunky chub. There we go. Almost 1.5 kilos. How are the wildfires doing up there, Canadian? I haven't seen much news on them lately. Ooh, still burning pretty wild, it sounds like. Hopefully we can get some rain up there to start washing them out. There's sunfish. Tiny sunfish. He's the one. The little sunfish. Well, the strategy there, Canadian, is to start just relocating all the flood water to the fires. I mean, come on now. Just get a bunch of buckets. Yeah, it sucks to hear though. To hopefully get some better weather up there on both fronts. I remember we had something similar a few years ago. The state next to us was in like an extreme drought, and I think we had gone over 40 days straight of rain. Just like everything was just washed out. Like, all right, we can take some of our water and give it to them, surely. So outside of developing fishing video games, the one thing I still think that would be really awesome to see, especially like if you could get one of the big sims like this or Fishing Planet to pick up support for it, I would love to develop a haptic feedback fishing reel controller where you get realistic resistance on the reel and the rod pull down and stuff like that. That would be really cool to play a fishing sim with that. Problem is, like, I could probably build a haptic feedback fishing controller like that pretty easily, but getting a game to support it is a completely different story. The physical part of it's not too bad. Like, I mean, if you have the parts and everything, you can scrap one together. I'm obviously for like mass production. That's the whole different. So if I just like building one on my own, I could piece it together. But um, I know Fishing Planet is available on console, so they may already have some like Rumble features built in. That's at least a starting point, but just shy of what we need for that market order. Dang it. Um, but that would be a really cool feature to have. That like, especially if you had like a VR mode as well. Be really cool. Trophy car. Well, sounds like it's time to upgrade your grease there, Canadian. Get that old 106 silver super grease. Say goodbye to the orange flame. What are we sitting at? 60 fish? That's not too bad. I'm really hoping I can pull in one more of those Rudd to fill in that cafe order. Although I think that might have been the one that was about to expire, so probably won't be so lucky. Another shad. Something on line 2. Another little shad. There's something I never thought about on here. Why is the real lock icon like a shield? Picture there. Or not the real lock, the real clip. Ooh, that's a nice big Ponic shad there. See, this is why I think that, like, if you come out here with ultralight tackle, maybe 3 ultralight setups, I think you can make really good XP. I mean, that fish alone on premium happy hour would have been like an 8,000 XP fish. That's weird that the real clip indicator is a shield, though. You think it'd be like a real shape or something, or scissors maybe? Got another mover online too. Yeah, it's kind of one of those hidden features, kind of like the purple rods that have like special bonuses to them, like they might give you like an extra skill point in something or extra skill percentage. They don't really cover much of that in the tutorial at all. The trick though is that like you can get lightweight setups pretty cheap. For this body of water, really, I mean, I guess you could just use the starter ultralights because you don't need to have anything more than like a 3 kilo setup here. So that's probably going to be the next thing I explore is getting I've got the light setup. I might try getting 2 more ultralight setups and come out here and see how the XP is doing a full day of drifting. Because it seems like it'd be pretty good. Since most of these fish, even on a non-light setup, are like 500 XP at least. And even on an ultralight setup, these fish won't put up much of a fight. Now what you need to do is get an ultralight halibut or Greenland shark somehow. That's where the real XP is. Another Volgazander. Thought that one had a fish on, but yes, I was just seeing things. Now it's got something on it. Ooh, that's a decent perch, over a kilo. Might actually be able to fill that perch order. Yeah, definitely. Like once you get there, like I mean, skill points, I guess, or something to are a big enough deal. 5 kilo perch, that would be a fat perch right there. But I could see, like, especially with when you get to that level, it would be useful to have enough skill points to where you could invest in all the different crafting and stuff like that as well. But you're right, like you're not unlocking any new maps after that, at least not yet. So XP doesn't matter as much. See, that's one thing I've been asking myself lately about the games. Like, do they need more maps at the end game, or do they need more early game? I I kind of lean towards like maybe I think the solution is kind of similar to what I was saying with my suggestion about an earlier version of the Norwegian Sea is bring in a late game level, but then go ahead and bring like a partial version of the map in for early game. Yeah, like it's everything's focused so lately has definitely been, at least since the Norwegian Seas come out, it's like everything, all the updates have been kind of catered around that. But yeah, I think if they do something like that where it's like, okay, here's a new deep sea map, but at an earlier level, you can access the shoreline of it. I think that's the way to do it because then they can kind of like basically just partially develop it for the earlier level, and then the full release will come with the rest of the map that's for late game players. And that way, they're not having to kind of build from scratch on each map. Absolutely. And the other thing they got to take in mind is that I'm sure that the those gold trips were probably the best income they've seen in a while in the game because so almost every player has bought at least like one trip out there to the Norwegian Sea. Oh, I think we're about to hit the shore. Time to get back out to the middle of the river. Go. Now, one concern I'd have if they do release fly fishing, at that point, I'm starting to wonder if we need to reward more skill points per level or something. Because adding potentially two entirely new ability trees, that's starting to spread things a bit thin at that point. Yeah, I agree, Kenny. Like, I'd be interested to see what the statistics are for the number of players that are level 36 and above, and how their spending habits compare to the lower level players. Because yeah, I can imagine the kind of grind it takes. I know there's some players that are in like the level upper 40s and stuff like that. Like that's a mind-boggling amount of grind, especially when they haven't unlocked any new maps for ages. Yeah, I would be concerned about the skill point allotment if we had fly fishing and fly tying. Because I honestly like if they're going to release fly fishing, I want the ability to tie flies as well. Which I guess they could roll that into lure making and then just add a couple new abilities that you can put points into it, but still have the percentage based off of lure making. But yeah, it's with the addition of marine fishing already, like it's starting to feel like you definitely start feeling that pressure of skill points being spread too thin. It kind of ends up creating the situation where you and I know there's a lot of players that create alt accounts specifically for this reason, where you end up having different accounts for each style of fishing because there's so much of a skill point investment needed to really go out to like trophy fish and everything. Or if they do, maybe the solution would be if they release fly fishing as a whole new tree. Look at some of these things that have massive amounts of points in it, like the rods. Don't make it 7 points, make it 3 points to get the max benefit. Something like that could be an interesting way to approach it. So that way you can have a few more points to work with and spread them across new skill trees. Perch bite rates picked up over here. What we're looking at up to 72. A lot of perch, it looks like. A lot of perch, a lot of Pontic shad. Quite a bit of chub, actually. Another asp. Another perch. So yeah, I think I can get those ultralight spinning kits for like 150 silver each. So if I buy 2 more of those, because I think, let's see, I've got the, now this is only a lightweight, so I want to get 3 ultralights that can handle out here and see how good the XP is. I guess maybe I'll start with just 1 to see what the, make sure that it doesn't make it take too long to reel the fish in. But it seems like it'd be a good way to get XP decently fast and reliably, the key factor there. Got a ad break coming up here just to eliminate pre-roll ads. Subscribers will have no ads and appreciate the support as always. Everyone else will keep fishing through and see you when the ad break is over. And we're going to keep working our way down to the end of the river here. I need to get back towards the middle of the river. There we go. Let's see. Hopefully, I think we'll probably get close to 90 fish by the time we get to the end of the line here. Not too bad for 2 trips up and down the river. I guess just down the river 1.5 times, really. Weight-wise, at some point I do need to go and probably head back to Winding Rivulet or something and try to catch some fish that are around 500 to 1,000 grams that aren't worth much so I can restock my pieces of fish. I think I'm down to like 45 or so. A little pickle action here. We got something on line 1. Perch. Yeah, 90 may be a little bit optimistic, but like maybe 80. Maybe a little bit. Oh, get back out to the center of the river then. This side of the river always is bad about the current pulling you towards the sides. At one point, this willow tree was a really good spot for sunfish. I remember when I first started coming out here, I would catch just non-stop sunfish under this willow tree. But that seems to have dried up since then. The movie news, has anybody seen Barbie or Oppenheimer? I haven't been hearing good things about either of them, unfortunately. The little asp. You haven't seen them, Canadian? Yeah, I don't know, have not heard good things about either one, so I don't know what the deal is there. I think that may have been unintentionally hyped market. There was a little A24 film that I don't know if it's come out in theaters yet or not that I was looking forward to called Past Lives, I think is what it was. It looked pretty interesting. I was hoping that was a Rudd, but it's tiring. It'll be interesting to see how the now that we've got not just the Writers Guild striking, but also SAG-AFTRA striking as well. So I wonder how much delay it's going to cause in a lot of the industry. I think there's several films that were slated for release this year, like Dune Part 2, that have already been confirmed to be probably getting pushed back. Oh, there's a pretty nice tearing there. As part of the SAG-AFTRA strike. But yeah, the main complaint I heard about Oppenheimer, which is it's kind of a trademark of most Christopher Nolan films, is I've heard people complain that it skips around different times within the plot line to where a lot of people are having trouble keeping up with as far as like which time they were in. Or like you might have scenes that are in the past taking part in earlier years of his life, parts that are in post bomb stuff like that, but it would keep jumping back and forth. So I can definitely see. I haven't seen Tenet, but I know that was one of the complaints of that one as well. And I think that's just Christopher Nolan had such a lightning in a bottle success with Memento. He kind of just latched on to that whole time jumping style with his films, other than the Batman trilogy. And something like Oppenheimer probably isn't the kind of movie that needed that kind of style to it. Getting close to the end of the river here. Will we make it to? I think we'll definitely hit 80 fish. Will we make it to 85? The setting sun is working against us. Come on. Give me at least one more fish to hit 80 here. Going through some weeds. I've lost track of the boat. There we go. Hey, there we go. Got a fish on. Number 80, just a little perch. You know, I wonder, has anybody explored whether or not the recent change to make shy fish scared of the boat motor, if that can be used to advantage to weed out certain species while trolling? Ooh, that's a real big shad right there. Nice. I wonder if something like a perch or something like that could be scared away from biting if you keep your line close to the boat, but something like a pike maybe wouldn't be scared of it, so it could be a way to target fish certain species better. There's another sunfish. All right, what are we up to? We're up to 82. We're getting pretty close here, so we can get 3 more fish by the time we hit 85. It seems like if you go right when the sun starts to come up from the docks, you'll hit the end of the line drifting right about sunset. So that's good to know. Another sunfish. That's a pretty decent one, actually. 131 grams. Did you get a fish get away or something there, Canadian? Oh, shy. Well, you know, the trick there, just grab another fish out of your keep net and just shove it down the fish's gullet while the judges aren't looking. You'll hit the trophy mark. That's all you gotta do. Back in the weeds. All right, so we're just about to the end of the line. Sun is set. Can we get, all right, I think we got a fish on line 1. Can we get one more fish besides that and hit 85? A little sunfish. All right, come on, give me one more fish. One gram off. That's they're just trolling you at that point. See, that's why you just need to focus on getting trophy bleak and mussels. Oh, that fish number 85, I see. Yes, excellent. Little chub, but hey, 85 fish, I'll take that. Might as well go ahead and head back to the docks now. All right, head back to the dock the quick way. See if we can finally fill a cafe order here. Doubtful, but who knows? Go. Nope, didn't get enough big perch. Definitely don't have that. Nope, still haven't been able to fill a cafe order out here, so let's do our usual guess on how much we've got in the keep net here. I'll search by weight. We've got 85 fish total. A couple decent ones, decent bit of chat markers on here. I'm gonna say 120. 170 from Canadian. All right, let's see what we've got. Oh, you're pretty close, 161. What were our big monies here? We got 10 for that Pontic Shad. That's not bad. Almost a little over 9 for that Terran. Ooh, those two sunfish were worth over 6 silver apiece. That's pretty good. The Sigil actually, I guess, weren't worth as much as I thought they would be. But pretty good. Did pretty well on the Shad. That's not bad at all. The Chub were okay. Perch were all pretty much garbage. Yeah, they've definitely made the pumpkin seed sunfish a little bit more profitable with the increase to their average weight and price. But overall, that's about 80 silver an hour. Not great, but it's relaxing, easy to do. And we're finally back over 1,000 silver. I did want to check the stats on the ultralight starter sets here. Get an idea of what to be building towards on that. Nope, that's a grocery store. Administration. Tech store, there we go. All right, so let's take a look at the kits if it'll ever load. Right, I'm back into here. What's going on, tackle shop? There we go. We've got spinning. I guess there's not an ultralight starter, is there? That's light. Light. Huh, thought there was an ultralight starter. So let's just look at the basic stuff here. Light. Okay, so the cheapest ultralight can handle 3 kilo. It's 170 silver. It's a little risky. We go to a little bit higher end. That's they don't know if these are ultralight, are they? Medium heavy. So I guess that's the only real cheap option for ultralight is the ultralight arrow. So that's 170 there. Real, I've probably got that with the Lacertes, I'd imagine. Let me check those. Maybe one on here. Lacerti is actually it's actually overpowered for it. What else do we have? That one's another 34.2. So I guess the Spark 2 is okay for an ultralight setup there. How much are those? I've got one already. Those are dirt cheap. Is there a higher quality one that might be a better option? There are. I guess basically 178, 179 silver gets you an ultralight setup that could work out here, so maybe what I do next time is pick one of those up and see how the XP does and see how long it takes to wheel the fish in. Our usual end of stream scoopity-doop here. Only 2 out of 3, oh well. But that'll be it for tonight's stream. Appreciate everyone coming out. Hope everybody has a good rest of their weekend and good fishing. And I will catch everybody next time. Take it easy, folks.